Most people wait. They wait for proof. They wait for numbers. They wait for reassurance that something is already established before they allow themselves to step into it. They don't want to be early. They want to be safe. But every meaningful change in how the world has ever operated began the same way. Not with millions, not with momentum, not with certainty. It began with a small number of people who chose to participate before it felt comfortable. Not because they were sure, but because they recognized something that mattered. Ideas shared is not powered by technology. It is powered by participation. Every person who joins is not just another user. They become part of the foundation, part of the early culture, part of the behavioral tone, part of what this becomes. Early participants shape everything: the way people speak to one another, the way problems are framed, the way disagreement is handled, the seriousness of intent, the depth of thought, the quality of contribution. This is how systems form, not through design alone, but through the people who inhabit them. When people arrive here slowly, in small numbers, they often assume that means the idea is small. But it's usually the opposite. It often means the idea is selective. It means it attracts people who think before they speak, people who reflect before they act, people who care deeply about meaning rather than attention. Those people always arrive quietly. But history has never been moved by the majority. It has always been moved by a committed minority who chose participation over passivity. Consider something simple. If only a very small proportion of the world's population were to engage constructively, thoughtfully, and consistently around what actually matters. Not reacting, not arguing, not performing, but participating with intention, the implications are enormous, not because of power, but because of coordination. Because millions of thoughtful people would no longer be isolated from one another, no longer fragmented across platforms designed for distraction, no longer speaking into the void. Instead, they would be visible, connected, prioritized, able to build momentum around the things that matter most. That is what this system is designed to support. Not influence, not control, not persuasion, but alignment. A place where people who care can finally see each other, find each other, and work with each other without noise, without manipulation, without gatekeepers. But systems like this do not grow because people believe in them. They grow because people use them. Participation is the inflection point, always has been. Every person who decides to participate early does something disproportionately important. They are not joining something that already exists. They are helping bring it into existence. They are shaping its culture. They are setting its tone. They are establishing its standards. They are becoming part of the nucleus around which everything else eventually forms. You do not need to be an expert. You do not need to be confident. You do not need to have perfect clarity. You do not need permission. You only need to be honest about what matters to you. If something in your life, your work, your community, or the wider world feels unresolved, unfinished, broken, or important, then you already belong here. Membership does not require certainty. It does not reward performance. It does not measure worth by popularity. It only responds to participation. The question is not whether this will grow. All systems either grow or disappear. The question is simpler than that. Do you remain an observer of the world as it is, or do you choose to participate in shaping what it could become? Every system begins with individuals who decide to begin, nothing else. Just that decision.